Hi everybody, I'm Jersey Shore Lisa from MyNJGarden.com, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I'm doing in the backyard. I am building another garden bed because you can never have too much growing space. So what I'm using is some repurposed, recycled fence boards. I had two of these fence panels break earlier in the season. A tree fell on them, so I've chosen to recycle them by building a couple of raised garden beds. The only reason these garden beds are this high, that's certainly not required to grow great food or great vegetables in your yard, either front yard, backyard, whatever. You don't need to have them this high. We have them this high because we have a crazy yellow lab who would get all into my gardens if they were all at soil level. She can certainly still get into these, but this deters her. She doesn't get it. We don't encourage her to get into them, so we keep them up high so she doesn't get all involved. Other than that, it's also a good idea to use raised gardens, optional, but a good idea, because you have control over what goes inside these gardens, especially if you don't have really fertile native soil. You can amend raised garden beds very easily, and you choose what you put inside. Now, because these boards are so thin, they are great wood. They're cedar wood, so they're rot resistant, water resistant, but they are thin. So a garden bed this size, filled completely just with topsoil or something, would be incredibly heavy and put a lot of pressure on those boards. So I've chosen to build up the inside using logs and wood that I found out in the woods here near the house. This way, it creates its own kind of structure on the inside, and then I top it off with soil, a few inches of soil for the plants to grow in, and it's not so much pressure on my side boards. Once this is built and filled, I'm not going to disturb it. I'm not going to till it or turn it over and destroy any of that soil structure. There will be pore spaces, there will be air, there will be structure so that the rotting wood can absorb rainwater like a sponge, and it won't run off. It won't put a lot of pressure on those side walls because it's really going to be have a lot of stability. So that's the plan, and I've already done it on two other beds, and I'll show you how those beds were built. But I just wanted to show you the way I started, so that if you had any questions or wanted to build a large raised bed, you don't need to fill it all just with topsoil. This is actually a great idea, not only because of my situation with the thin boards, but because there's so much organic matter involved. It'll feed your plants, you'll have super healthy soil, and let me show you what I've got inside. I've gone into the woods and I have taken some cut logs that I've found and decomposing logs. A lot of this has fungi all up in there, and it's really light wood, so that means it's been rotting for quite a while. And I'm okay with it. People will ask, what about termites? You don't want to bring termites into your yard. The termites are not going to... My house is all the way over there across the yard. Well, bam! Termites are not going to leave this feast that I have set up for it in order to go hunt down my house, which has, not for nothing, a concrete foundation, by the way. So, this is what's in the bottom of the box. This takes up a lot of space, actually. So what I plan to put on top of this is in this tarp right now. That is a whole lot of unfinished compost. You can see all the leaves. Very obviously, it looks like just a pile of raked leaves in there. But there's also kitchen scraps and coffee grounds and eggshells and banana peels, and all that deliciousness is all mixed in with those leaves. That is going to go on top of all of this wood. It's going to fill in those spaces. It's going to help it decompose. And then on top of that, I'll put compost that I get from my municipal recycling center, and I'll plant right into that. And this year, my plants might be a little slow. They might not be fantastic this year because this stuff is taking a lot of nitrogen to break down. I'm not going to disturb this soil after I plant. It is going to stay that way. In spring, I will not till up this bed or turn it over. I will just cut down any plants at the soil level that are left and plant right into it because I want that soil to maintain its structure. I want that fungi that's in there to really keep going and to chew down all that organic matter. I want those soil organisms to be happy and to create their little colonies of delightfulness underneath the soil level, which if you turn it over and disturb it too much, you destroy that and you mess it up. So that's really important, that soil food web. I want happy plants. So as that stuff breaks down, as those microorganisms thrive under that soil, my plants are going to thrive. So even if this year some nitrogen is being taken up by this decomposition, I'm okay with that. Next year, the year after that, it will just get better and better and better. This will be the best soil in the yard. It's going to be amazing. So just to let you know, that's how I filled up this bed here, which is the keyhole garden, which is just doing fantastic and loving life. There's Swiss chard in there, there's squash in there, there's beans happening, there's little carrots. This looks really blank, but there's tiny little carrots happening right there, and I'm excited about it because they're purple carrots. So I don't even think I'm going to eat them this season. I'm just going to let them go, and I'm going to save seed because purple carrots are cool. And then this is the other garden box that is similar to the one I'm building now on the other side of the keyhole, and it's filled the same way. It's filled with giant logs underneath, and then compost and leaf litter on top of that, and then topped off with compost. I planted right inside there, and these things are pretty happy. Looks a little dry right now. I'm gonna have to water that, but as that stuff underneath starts really decomposing, it becomes like a sponge. Going to soak up that water. I'll have to water that less and less and less. So that's my story. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please put them in the comment section. Let me know you're watching. Let me know what you think. And if you have any tips for me, I would love to hear them. I am a big fan of permaculture, and I try and use permaculture principles throughout my gardens, both the front and the backyard. I've been gardening this way since about 2011. And I'm learning more every single season that I do it, and I'm growing different things all the time. The front yard is mostly a forest garden, but the backyard has these raised beds, and I have a greenhouse over there. And I'll show you different parts of the property and projects that I'm working on in different videos. I hope you subscribe to the channel so I can keep you up to date about what's going on at MyNJGarden.com. And have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.